In Fortnite, sensitivity is absolutely critical. In order to be able to build and edit fast enough, be able to hit your shots, and be able to do basically everything else, you need to be able to find a good sensitivity that allows you to do everything you need to do. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to find your perfect sensitivity in Fortnite Chapter 4. This applies to all platforms, whether you're controller, keyboard, or mouse, or even mobile. Before we get into it, be sure to drop a like on the video if it helps you out, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more, and lastly, consider using code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you and it seriously does help me out a bunch, so as always, thank you so much to everyone who uses it. But with that said, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So getting straight into this video, the first thing I want to talk about is the PSA method. The PSA method is basically the classic way to find your sensitivity and one that I've been recommending for years at this point. Starting off, you're going to want to open the PSA method calculator. You can find this by simply Googling PSA method calculator, or you can look in the description and I should have it linked somewhere. What you want to start off with, whether you're a keyboard and mouse, controller, or mobile player, is you want to start by choosing a reasonable middle ground sensitivity. For controller, it's totally up to you, I guess anywhere between like 40 and 50%. And for mouse and keyboard, I recommend whatever sensitivity allows for one full 360-degree spin by moving your mouse across the usable mousepad space. So what I mean is set your keyboard in its normal position, go to the far opposite side of your mousepad, and move your mouse across the entire space so you can move it until you hit your keyboard. And basically you want to make that so it's close to one 360-degree spin of your character. That's going to be like a middle ground sensitivity. It's kind of low for most players, but it's just a starting point. Now from here, you're going to want to input the sensitivity that you've chosen, and you want to run some creative or regular games. You can jump into some 1v1s, jump into some arena, or whatever else you want to do, and you really want to just feel it out and see how the sensitivity works for you. You can either stick with the sensitivity and make it your sensitivity if you like it, or if it doesn't feel good, then you can select lower or higher in the calculator. And then in the chart, you're going to see another base value, which is what you're going to want to switch your sensitivity to. And basically you keep rinsing and repeating this process until you find your perfect sensitivity. Eventually, I think if you do 7 turns of it, it's going to give you your quote unquote perfect sensitivity, which is basically what it's been narrowed down to through all the times you've selected lower or higher. But yeah, the PSA method has been a super popular method for a very long time, and for good reason. It's very simple to set up, it works very well, and it gives you basically a perfect sensitivity. Once again, the link to the PSA method calculator is going to be down in the description, or you can just search up PSA method calculator on Google. Getting into our second method to find your perfect sensitivity though, and this one is going to be a very simple method, which is trial and error. Trial and error is the simplest method ever. You literally just pick a random sensitivity, play creative with it, and adjust it non-stop until you find what works. This method is very straightforward. You're literally just picking up random sensitivity and making it higher or lower depending on how you feel. It's basically a much less structured version of the PSA method. It's much less precise, but fundamentally it's pretty similar. The only issue I see with the trial and error method is that a lot of people get mixed up trying to find the perfect sensitivity, and they keep making it higher and lower, and they're basically in a constant cycle of trying to find it. So what I'd recommend you do is you probably start with the trial and error method, and if you can't figure it out with that method, then use the PSA method to kind of narrow it down. That's only if the trial and error method doesn't work for you. And while I'm at it, I want to mention that the building and editing sensitivities you go for are going to be the same exact method pretty much. So once you use the PSA method to determine your aiming sensitivity, obviously this is for controller players, you can then use the same exact method, use the same exact calculator, or the same exact trial and error to find your building and editing sensitivities. And I guess if you want to get really fancy with it, you can use that for dead zones, but I mean, if you literally just find where you don't have stick drift, then you've got a good dead zone. But I just wanted to bring that up because I know I'm probably going to get questions about that. So yes, you can definitely use those methods for building and editing sensitivity. The third method I want to give you guys, and the last technical method for finding your sensitivity, is going to be copying a pro. Now this one is a little bit controversial because I know you don't want to just copy a pro straight up. Just because it works for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but I do think you can find a lot of value in this method regardless. What you want to do is find a pro whose playstyle you kind of want to go for or replicate, or whose playstyle you already play like. You want to figure out their sensitivity, and you basically want to just copy it down. And then once you do have their sensitivity on, you can make adjustments as you see fit until it fits you best. The way to actually find their sensitivity is usually pretty straightforward. You can hop into their Twitch chat and do !sense or !sensitivity, and oftentimes it's going to have like a bot where it just tells you their sensitivity. If not, then you can just ask directly in their chat if they're not a super big streamer, or they may even have a settings video made or settings video made about them, in which case you can just look up, for example, Booga settings on YouTube. The thing I really like about this method is that it gives you some inspiration and gives you a sensitivity that works, but some issues tend to arise when you directly copy and just go with it. You want to make sure the sensitivity actually works for you because everyone is different. You don't want to just directly copy a pro's sensitivity just because you think it'll be cool, and since they play really well with it, because chances are it's not the perfect sensitivity for you. But yeah guys, I think that copying a pro method definitely has some validity to it, and it may be worth giving a shot. So the last topic I want to cover in this video is a debate that's been raging for a long time within the Fortnite community, which is high or low sensitivity. Now a lot of people wonder, should I use high sensitivity? Should I use low sensitivity? Should I use a middle ground sensitivity? I'm going to clear it up for you guys right now. The truth is that you don't want to use a straight up high sensitivity, but you also don't want to use a straight up up low sensitivity. In Fortnite, it's all about the balance. You want to strike a balance between the mechanical benefits of being able to build and edit super fast with a high sensitivity and the benefits of being able to aim super well with a low sensitivity. Neither one of these types of sensitivity is inherently better, but higher sensitivities are typically preferred for keyboard and mouse. That's because they give mechanical benefits, and for controller players, they typically go for middle ground or maybe even slightly low sensitivity since it's kind of a smoother playstyle, and it definitely helps a lot that building and editing sensitivities are customizable. What I recommend you guys do is really don't get too caught up with the high or low sensitivity aspect of it. Figure out what works for you best, and that's going to be your best sensitivity. The fact of the matter is there's never going to be one sensitivity that works perfectly for everybody, and there's always going to be a big debate over whether you should play with a high sensitivity or a low sensitivity, so just choose what works for you and you should be in a good spot. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to find the best sensitivity in Fortnite Chapter 4. Overall, by following one of the methods in this video and considering everything that I've said, you should be able to find a very good sensitivity for you that fits you well, allows you to build and edit fast, and allows you to aim, and you should be able to do that relatively quickly. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it, and consider subscribing as well if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content just like this in the future. As well as that, guys, if you want to show some extra support, then it would really mean a lot to me if you could use code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you. It only takes a few seconds to type in, and it seriously does help me out a ton. So as always, a massive thank you to everyone who uses it. And lastly, guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see next on the channel. We've kind of reached a point in Chapter 4 Season 1 where we're kind of just coasting into Season 2 and we're kind of waiting for it. But if you guys have any more videos that you want to see in the meantime in terms of tips and tricks, then definitely let me know. I tend to read almost all, if not all, of my comments, so definitely let me know if you have any suggestions. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.